What's up, guys? It's Jill. It is Monday, September 8th, and I have a channeled message, I guess, that I've been sitting on for a little while, and today I got the nudge that maybe we need to talk about this. For a long time, I've been saying that, like, the dumbing down of education really brought us full circle into just complete ignorance. And here it is, right, in this 1984 dystopian hell that we're living in, of deportations and militarized cities and chaos, right? But on a more local, generalized platform, I guess, what are we doing? And what the hell are we wearing? And that's a real question, okay? And not so much for the guys, but for the women and our young girls. What are you wearing? I see people now, yoga leggings used to be for the gym, and then, yeah, okay, it was leggings for everyone. But now it's reinforced, lined right up the crack, and I don't understand. I've seen this maybe 3 or 4 times over the past week, like pants that are specifically designed to compress within your cheeks. And I wasn't really paying a lot of attention to it until I really saw a lot of men objectify one woman, and she had no idea that it was happening. Now, obviously, common sense says that it was happening, and she probably, could have been a little self-aware that maybe this isn't something that's appropriate, but we've normalized this, so I'm not here to be liked, okay? I'm just gonna throw that out there because this is really gross, you guys. The demoralization of our society starts when we start dressing, like we just don't have any respect for ourselves. Now, I don't care if you're in shape or, you go to the gym. This is obnoxious to think that we have just normalized this. Like, this is, the mall, not the gym. This is Subway, not the gym. Okay. And what scares me is that I see all these little girls, and I'm gonna throw it out there because the other day I asked my daughter, like, what are you wearing? Now, she runs cross country, and apparently Dad let her have these Nike Pro shorts that are only for running, okay? But not acceptable, friends. These girls are walking around in underwear, basically. And with the way that we objectify women in this country, and with the amount of sexual assault and rape that we see in this country, it's exponential, okay? We're talking like 1,200 women a day are raped, and it's reported in this country. So what do you think that number really looks like? Then you can add in like spousal abuse and all those things, but we're not gonna do that, okay? We're just gonna go with like common sense things, numbers, so we can prove, yeah, this is a real thing in America. Like, we just aren't kind to women, so the fact that women would be walking around in these things intentionally has me questioning where we're going as a society. And what's worse about that is that the ignorance is rampant, just off the charts lately, and that's so hard. I was so frustrated with it today that I unfriended a woman on Facebook. She had this post up and it said, "Don't loose your fire." And I was like, no, please, if you have a fire within you, please loose it upon the collective. Like, let it go, but don't lose yourself in the process, right? And we've come to this point where we've just started accepting the ignorance, and that's ACC, not EXP, because I see that a lot. We're not accepting. Guys, I'm not even trying to be a jerk at this point. I'm just so frustrated because, we wonder why the kids can't read, but all we've done to this entire generation is hand them screens from the time they were born. And then Miss Jill asks them, like, what number is this? Well, we don't know that, okay? What color is this? We're working on shapes. So Miss Jill pivots. Well, what shape is this? And they still don't know. It is not up to education to educate your child. Now, I know that that sounds counterintuitive, okay, but your child should be headed to preschool, especially after the age of 2. If they're audible, they should know shapes and colors. By 3 and 4, they should be able to recognize numbers and letters. This is real because we should be showing them, introducing them, reading to them. We're not doing those things. Now, I'm a big fan of homeschooling, but only if you can educate your child and you are willing to educate your child. They need it, you guys. They need us to show them things. That the only way that kids know anything is if we teach it to them. That's it. That is it. The only things that we know are what we are taught. And some of what we learn on the fly. Are kids going to get shapes and colors and numbers and grammar on the fly? No. Now they can follow language patterning, some of them, if they're paying attention and if they want to be. But by the time they're 4, 5, 6 years old and they've been shoved to the side and handed a tablet, they don't really have that intrinsic motivation to care. We've bred that out of them. It's a dangerous place because that could also mean that a lot of our autism diagnoses right now are coming from the screens. At 6 months old, is it possible that those refresh rates and some of what you're giving them, if it's too loud, too noisy, too chaotic, is melting synapses in the brain? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the truth, and a lot of people aren't going to like that because it's been scientifically proven. But common sense can take us a long way, friends. A long way. You know, and people are going, oh, I can't parent without my screens. You can, because before 20 years ago, parents did it for millennia. Like, it can be done, I promise you. But I'm going to switch places on that a little bit here right now because I want you to be talking to your kids if you have older kids who are beyond, you know, the letters and the numbers and the shapes. If you have kids in like middle and high school right now, please, please, please be talking to them because this new cell phone ban, as we move into this dystopian nightmare NWO endgame, I am concerned about the no cell phones. Because it makes me question what's being done in the classrooms and what's being changed that they don't want the parents to see, right? Because now that they've shut the kids down, yes, the kids aren't bullying one another on the phones while they're in school. I know they're not looking at things that they shouldn't be while they're in school. But what they also don't have is access to teacher harassment, to subject areas that may not be healthy for them or that we may not want them to hear. History of things that may be incorrect. So there are two sides to that coin, and that is a big one, friends. That one has me a little nervous, and it has me more nervous because I hear a lot of the kids right now going like, the teachers are different this year. And especially some of the really good teachers who used to be really happy and upbeat are not this year. They've sort of turned the page, and the kids are questioning why that is. So if you're a teacher and there is something going on, you know, maybe speak about it, okay, or don't. It's up to you. But again, in coming full circle, you know, I don't know what we're doing out here. We've got doctors telling people to take prescription drugs over smoking weed in their pregnancies. They really should probably be taking psilocybin and microdoses for postpartum, but we're not going to talk about that, right? Because again, common sense hasn't made a comeback yet. But I don't know, when we're barely surviving and the morals are gone, right? Because everything is like poverty wage jobs now. The school has open interviews tomorrow for full-time positions at $18 an hour. Well, rent is $1,600. And $1,800 is, or $18 an hour is like $2,000 a month. You can't live on that, especially if you have a kid, right? So we're just talking like now you got to be on the welfare and you still got to go get your $25 rent. So it's a cyclical game, guys. There's no, there's almost no escape at this point. If you're like lower middle class, like you're basically just screwed. And Big Beautiful just took away most opportunity, and that's a hard thing to say, but it's true. Unless you want one of those government games where they're just out there handing out a lot of false information, but that's going to come to light too very soon. So thankfully for that, and don't get too up in arms over the vaccine debate. There's a necessity behind that, and it's not that all vaccines are bad. Please give your kid the polio vaccine. Okay, we killed enough kids, we harmed enough kids to get that one. Let them have it. But things like Hep B, they probably don't need. Do your research, right? Like vitamin K. Do a lot of research on that one. Like go deep on that one. See why they're doing it. A lot of money grabs out there that are not beneficial to our children. And is there a necessity to harm children? Well, it's a culling of the population, and there is a depop agenda. And I don't know. I said to somebody about 8 years ago, I think, they were building the new playground over there in Owasco, and I was like, we're building all these playgrounds for all the kids that we've destroyed. And my friend was like, that's not true. And I was like, think about it. Playgrounds didn't have to used to be all inclusive because we were taking in 2 or 3 kids in a school district with disabilities, and now we're taking like 15 a year. Okay, that is a huge jump, my friends, and there is a reason for that. There are things that happened in society that caused that to be a reality that we are living. Just do your research. Be informed. Don't just trust the media narratives, and don't get mad one side or the other until you know what you're just speaking on, okay? And if you don't know, then ask your higher power, ask for guidance, ask whatever you believe in, God, whatever. Because your body will always know. Your gut will tell you which way to go. And a lot of people learn that with the COVID vaccine, The virus was created to hand out the vaccine. What was the vaccine? What were those spike proteins? We still don't know. But they're replicating indefinitely in your body if you got the shot. And the boosters, well, who knows, right? It's full circle, friends. It's the dumbing down of the education, and then it's the loss of the grammar. And, and I see that so much with, and I already covered this, but like the lose and the loose and the your and the yours. But what's hard is that the parents can't help the kids if the parents don't know, and we're finally in that time where, like everybody after 1996 who got that dumbed down education, who has no idea, how can you teach your kids the correct thing if you don't know the correct thing? How can you help your kids, I see these posts like, have a great day, you're doing great, and it's the wrong you're, and I'm like, well, now what? Because kids only know what we teach them, so what we're modeling and what we're giving them is what we're accepting and what we're allowing, and everything that we allow is what will persist. I've been saying that for years. It just doesn't seem to be getting any better, and I don't know. I don't know a way to run anymore, you guys. The homeschool thing, it's fun. It's fun. Am I going to make a ton of money doing it? Not probably this year, which sucks. And I'm going to work poverty wage jobs and suck it out? I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Do I really want to be here? No, and that's a hard thing. And I've said that many times. Like, if it weren't for my kids, I don't have any use for the human condition right now. Am I being called to speak on this nonsense that I see? Absolutely, because we can't. I just spit on myself. That was cool. We can't keep doing this, you guys. We can't keep melting these little kids' brains, and we can't keep sending them off to pre-K going, the teacher will teach them shapes and colors and how to wipe themselves and how to put their coat on and the rules of society and how to behave. What is the parental accountability anymore? And I don't know is that there is any, I'm How many backpack programs did we have? Like, pretty much every kid in the city got a backpack to go back to school, and that's just money cycles. We don't actually teach these kids anything. We just hand them free shit. Oh, you guys need a bicycle? Okay, well, we'll give you a bicycle, which is only useful to, like, their dad and their stepdad when they take off to go get cigarettes or weed or whatever, right? But once in a while, I see kids on bikes. I don't know. I guess I'm a jerk. It's okay. You don't have to like me. I'm tired of it. I want to see some common sense. I want to meet someone and have an intellectual conversation, and lately it's getting harder and harder to do. I want to stop giving out free things and start, like, really educating people on just common sense, guys. Like, the media has destroyed us. It's destroyed our ability to hold conversations and to have cognitive thought processes. That's a lot. That's a hard one. Life isn't about stuff. I know we live in a consumer society, and I know that we can't send kids to school without things, but we could also be donating those things to the school, and when kids show up without backpacks, we can hand them a backpack and say, here's the things that you need for the year. I don't know. I've said that before too for a couple of years now. I think that we want to hand people things and pretend like it makes it all better, but we're just cyclically failing, and it's getting exponentially worse, and that's why our homeless population is growing. That's why the poverty wage jobs are out there, and no one is winning right now. How many GoFundMe's have I seen for moms? And I've told you guys, I just lost everything for a second time. You can't live on $18-20 an hour. I went and got a degree, and I'm still being offered poverty wage jobs. Gross out here, y'all. But when you couple that with ignorance, hard out here, man. But, so, that was a lot, and it's basically just me ranting, but, like, for real, please talk to your kids about what's going on in their classrooms. Please be educating your children, minus the screens, on, like, shapes, colors, things that they need to know for daily life, how to zip their pants, how to toilet. And literacy is super important, guys, so... But I can't fix what's already been broken if they're adults, right? So you'd have to motivate them to want to. And I made a video on that a couple of years ago, or maybe I wrote about it on the Daydream page of some of the conversations that I heard between, like, teacher aides and students, and they only know what we give them, guys. Alright, anyways, that's it. I'm out. Have a good day.